And good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Perugini. I am here with the Irish Otani, Chris Lahiff, and Patrick Houseman for our second live edition of the CEV Sports, the Philly podcast. Gentlemen, did you guys – I guess we can talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. That was the big game today, and, I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? I really felt that the team we saw in the second half showed up more in the first half, or a little bit sooner at least. But, I don't know. I'd like to hear your takes on it, guys. So go for it.
All right. So I missed some of the game, but obviously social media was blowing up. Like, how much of his bench did he play that when it started getting out of hand?
You know what? Yeah. I honestly wasn't even watching the game. I had so much stuff going on today. I was running around and everything, and I don't know why. It's crazy, but but I can tell you one thing. After the game ended, with the score and how they rebounded basically in the second half, I still feel good about this series. I'm not worried about it yet, not at all. But
listen,
you could definitely go ahead.
If Atlanta shoots 42% for the rest of the playoffs from 3-point line, they're winning the championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. That was the other thing I was going to say. That does not happen. That can't keep up. There's no way that can keep up. Even though Atlanta is a better team than Washington was, but yeah, they can't keep that up. So I don't know, Patrick. What do you think?
So you guys were asking about the bench. I jotted some information down. All right, so 5 starters from the Hawks. Plus minus, Collins, -12. Trae Young, -11. Bogdanovich, best on the team, 0. Hill, -10. Clint Capella, -4. Sixers starters, plus minus, Embiid, +13. Simmons, +4. Curry, +16. Green, +5. Harris, +9. Game was lost to the bench, gentlemen.
There you go.
There you go.
Got all the Hawks starters were the best starter was at a 0 for plus minus 0. That was their best. That was the best they had out of the starters. Their bench went +13, +16, +11, +9, and +8. Game was lost to the bench.
All right, that's the show, guys. See ya.
Thanks for joining us today. Thank you, Brian. Nice to hear from you.
Seriously, and the problem was Doc stuck with those guys. The rotations had to get smaller in the playoffs. They can't. You can't leave guys on the bench for 6-7 minutes at a time now, especially when the team's making a run.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I guess I'm assuming he'll learn from it, but he probably looked at the Washington series because we had such a good. Our bench was so good. He was like, "Oh, yeah, it'll work."
That's a good possibility. But I can't blame him.
And you got to hope that he learns from it.
Well,
I think he will.
The other thing is Danny Green. A lot of those stats kind of get lost. So too. Where the starter's great. Curry came on at the end. Curry missed a lot of open threes early on. He was like go for 3 or 1 for 4 at one point, and then he made a bunch towards the end. Kind of got us back into it, but he was a little cold. Missed a bunch of open looks. Danny Green at being 0 for 4 was horrible, and he was horrible on Trae Young all day. There should have been he should have never been on. Now, the problem was that they did move Ben Simmons to him early in the second half, but the issue with Ben Simmons was he picked up 2 fouls almost immediately on him. So they had to pull him right off. At this point, I think Tobias, even though he's not a great defender, Danny Green's probably a better defender to him. I just think he's a little quicker, has a little bit more range, and can kind of stay with Young a little bit better than Green can. So if you're going to have to move Simmons or Thibault or somebody else off of him, I wouldn't necessarily go to Danny Green. I'd maybe go to Harris before I go back to Green. Green was just terrible. He just couldn't stay in front of him. And then he had to give him a cushion. As soon as he gave him a cushion, he was down 3s in his face. So it was just that was a frustrating part of the day. And Bogdanovich, he had so many open looks for 3s. The rotations have to be a little bit better. They have to be a little more crisp. Towards the end of the game, the press started working. And I hope they go back to that. Obviously, it's not something at the pro level that you can run all game. But, definitely going in maybe at the end of every quarter, end of every half, look to try to start doing that, because they had a really hard time dealing with our length and our speed when they were pressing and they were doubling. So that's something that they can always go back to game 2, 3, and 4 here.
Definitely. What do you have on that, Chris?
No, he was right. They weren't. But no, you're right. Listen, they gotta play defense. They gotta play better defense. Obviously we saw they made it a close game. They stole that ball at the end. Simmons dunked it, and they were only down by 2, and then they had to foul. And unfortunately, that's the luck of the game. Like, that's how good teams win and good and bad teams win. I'm not scared of Atlanta. I think Trae Young is going to get his points. He's a legitimate ball handler. He can score at will. We just got to stop everyone else. Like, these open threes in the corner with whatever his name is, Brodvanovich, whatever his name is. Like, that's frustrating. Like, we can't let them get these open threes. So we got to just let Trae Young shoot and then wait for everyone else. Like, let Trae Young do his thing. That's what I've been saying since we figured out we were playing Atlanta. Let Trae Young do his thing and worry about the rest of the team. Because if you can shut down the 4 other players on their team because I saw somewhere a post that said the Hawks are loaded. They're loaded. No, they're not. They're not loaded. I don't know where this. It's just one of those. It's one of those Philadelphia sports trolls who, what's his name? Billy knows him. Will DeRozier, who's bringing up Triple H. He's just one of those Philadelphia Phillies or Eagles trolls. Goes on, says this and says that. Like, he's talking about the Phillies and that they're not going to win 60 games this year. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. If they're going to get swept by Atlanta. And then I would trade Ben Simmons and I would trade Tobias Harris. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, shut up. Like, and it's these guys that, like, irritate me because you wouldn't say it to anybody's face. Like, if you got called out, like, someone wrote something the other day about Claude Giroux on a Facebook post about he is not captain worthy. He stinks. He should be traded and they should strip the C. So I invited him on the hockey podcast. I'm like, come on, you tell me what makes him unworthy of being the captain of this team. You tell me what makes him be unworthy, and that you'll get your 30 seconds of Facebook fame from us if you can give me a good reason. And obviously, when you get these social media guys, they don't respond to anybody because Eric invited a bunch of people on who just did nothing but talk their ish, and then when they get called out, and they're just I'm not going on. I don't want to be made a fool of, because that's what they are in my mind. They're fools. I mean,
if they don't want to go on, they're fools. They know it.
Listen, again, I'm not a sports guy. Like, I don't get paid by WIP or 97.5. Like, we're doing this I'm doing this from my dining room, like my orange wall. It's not a green screen, it's an orange wall. Like, but if you're gonna get your opinion and you get called on it and you get called out in your opinion, don't be a bitch. Plain and simple. Don't be a bitch. You want to be a bitch? Come on. Like, come right on. I'll argue anybody till I turn blue in the face. Before this pandemic started, me and Bill disagreed on everything. And when I mean everything Philadelphia sports, other than Joe Girardi is an overrated manager, we disagreed on everything. Now we agree on mostly everything, and it scares me. But, like, they just tell me what we know. Ben Simmons' free throws suck. We know this. I don't need Howard Eskin or everybody else calling in and saying Ben Simmons needs to do this. We know this. Again, I said it last week. It's a lazy sports take. It's the laziest sports take you can take is that Ben Simmons. It's going back to when you talk about Philadelphia fans. It's laziness. Like, you're not doing any research. You're just saying Philadelphia fans threw snowballs at Santa before we were on the moon. So that's what it comes down to.
That's all they go to right away. That's all they go to.
I feel like, though, there is some validation, though, to the Ben Simmons free throw thing. I mean, they shot 69% today. Now, that's a good number, but I mean, not when you're shooting foul shots,
Listen, I'm not going to sit there and disagree and say the Ben Simmons free throw problem isn't an issue. Like, people who sit there and say, "Oh, Ben Simmons," No, we know it is, and that's like one of the things like me and Eric argued, discussed in a group text about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons does need to do more. He needs to work on his free throws. He needs to work on his jump shot, but he makes up with it with his defense. He's got so much potential that he could literally be one of the best players in the game. Not a top 5. He could be better than LeBron. He could be better than Bradley Beal. He could be better than all these other guys. But again, it goes back to he was the best player in high school. He was the best player in college for 1 year, and he was like, I am what I am. Like, I'm going to be the second best player on the Sixers.
Look, if he's not going to shoot open jump shots, that's one thing. But he's going to make his points then by driving the lane. When you drive to the bucket, you get fouled, especially when you're big like him. You got to be able to make your foul shots. The famous scene in Hoosiers, foul line is the same distance, the rim's the same height every place you play. That should be automatic. Automatic. I mean, I have kids that shoot a better percentage, and they're 9, 10 than Ben Simmons does at this point. It's a joke. And he's a professional basketball player. I had somebody say, well, maybe his hands got big. It's like he's like Shaq. He's like this. Kawhi Leonard shoots great from the foul line.
And Kawhi Leonard.
Boban Marjanovic shoots great from the foul line. The guy's built like Lurch from the Addams Family, and he shoots a high percentage. So, like, I don't want to hear that it's the guy's fingers or it's this or it's that. He's got some kind of hitch. I can tell you just from his shooting motion. Like, you're supposed to have your hips square. Your right hip's supposed to be in line with the outside rim of the basket. Your left hip's supposed to be on the other side of the outside rim of the basket. Shoulder square, elbow in. The guy's elbows split completely out to the side, and it's just a junk jump shot. It's a junk shot. Like, fix it. Like, fix your shooting form. Like, there's better basketball guys in that building. Shit, they could go to Herb McGee down at University of Sciences or whatever farm. He runs clinics on shooting. Get him in there to help him, or a sports psychologist or somebody. He's got to shoot better than 20% from the foul line. That's a joke. Like, that's horrible. And like I said last series on Facebook multiple times, like games that we won, hey, it's great we won, but 0 for 6 from the line is going to come back and haunt us. Like, it's got to stop. Like, he's got to start making some foul shots. It's a 12-foot shot. It's a free throw. He's a professional basketball player. He's got to learn to make that shot. Then there's just nothing else to it. I can live with him if he's shooting 60%. If he goes 6 for 10, not great, but I can live with it. But like 2 for 10, 2 for 8, 0 for 6, that's garbage.
That is garbage.
Stop.
I mean, well, to note for today, I mean, from shooting, he was 7 for 7. I will say that. Like, he did not miss a shot that he took. But the story is always going to be. Yeah, there were. But yeah. But there is always going to be his foul shooting is going to come into play, and like, you guys are correct. He has to be better at that. I do like the fact that he's getting to the stadium early or the practice facility early, and he's practicing his free throws, and that's all well and good. You know, I mean, he's showing that he's putting the work in to try and get better. It's just the in-game situations. You know, maybe it is the situation of the playoffs that is getting to him. Who knows? I mean, none of us are psychologists. We can't get in his head and figure it out. But like Chris said, like we know what he is. He's good for the team. He has a role for the team. But yes, can he be better? I focus strictly on the free throws at this point at the line. I told Chris a while back.
That's all I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I told Chris a while back that, because I was one of those guys that wanted him to shoot more, because I believe if he shoots more, it opens up so many possibilities. But
yep.
I accept how, like, his game. I've seen it and I accept it.
Well, you want him to shoot more, but look at Russell Westbrook. We all know how great Russell Westbrook is. He's not a good shooter. So
right.
He was 7 of 20. So they, technically on the last game, so technically they turned the ball 13 times over because of his misses.
Right.
I don't want that from Ben Simmons, and I think that's what's in Ben Simmons' head. Again, I'm not.
You could be. You're right, though. It could be.
I'm a customer service manager, sales rep. I don't know what the hell is going through his head, but he could have that mindset that he doesn't want to shoot because he doesn't want to hurt the team with his shot. Even though he practices his shots and he makes all his threes and everything else and practices everything, but he might have that mindset. Listen, I'm better going to the net. I'm better passing the ball. So maybe there is that. you know. But
Right.
we talked about it before we got on the air. Is we had 8 offensive rebounds today to their 3,
So they're 3.
and we still like again. It goes back to when you win the offensive rebound battle. A lot of times you win the game,
Mm-hmm.
but when the other team's shooting 42% from the 3-point line, again, they're going to shoot 42% for the rest of the playoffs. They're winning a championship because they're just going to put up, shot after shot after shot. So, but go ahead.
No, I mean, that's all what I had to say. It's
That's okay. He looks like a Ninja Turtle. I didn't know who he was talking about for a second.
Who
Who looks like Ninja Turtle?
Russell Westbrook.
Oh yes, he absolutely does.
Because I brought him up.
Now I bring that. Now I get the connection. That's good. Bill's right. That's funny. But yeah, I mean it's.
So when did they play again? Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it's Wednesday.
It's Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday. That's
I
right.
could be wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday.
No, you're right. The first round they always like stretch it out a little bit, and then they get back on track. Yeah, it's Tuesday, or it should be Tuesday. Let's put it that way. But I'm on board with you guys, and like you guys are both right. It comes down to his foul shooting, but for the most part, like Patrick brought up the stats earlier in the show that the game was lost with the bench, and that falls on Doc. So Doc's got to be better in his overall Tuesday. Okay, so the first 4 games: Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, Monday. Thank you, Mr. DeRozier.
Our unofficial producer.
Yes. He's gonna sit there and just don't text me while I'm on the show. So, but no, I mean, but after with the game today, like I said in the beginning, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all. I thought Joe played well, considering that he's got to get the feel for how he's going to play with his knee, and
he hit 39 points. I think he's feeling good.
yeah. I mean, I was surprised at that when I saw. I was like, wait a second, he did what on a slightly torn meniscus? I'm like, holy crap! I was like, this dude is like literally superhuman. So, I don't know. Maybe he was all hyped up because Triple H was there. Who knows?
He had a moment where it looked like he got sore on him, but he kind of worked it out. I think at this point, some of it's going to be just kind of dealing with the pain. Now, I did talk to my uncle. My uncle's he's got his doctorate in physical therapy. Depending on, and obviously he hasn't examined, Embiid, but he said that those type of meniscus tears, you always have a chance for just it destabilizing and you having a serious injury. So that's a little worrisome. And I heard that he said, could also just lock up on him. So I'm hoping that it's not that bad where something like that's going to happen. He's just going to be dealing with pain. That's, obviously that sucks, but that might be best case scenario. But I mean, he played fantastic. Now he had a bunch of turnovers. The team as total almost had 20 turnovers, and just sometimes him making passes in the traffic, it's just a stupid play to force play. And I want to see him cut down on that a little bit. Going back to the bench, they worked off of 11-man rotation today. I think Doc's got to cut that to 8. Just plain simple.
I do
too. Milton doesn't need any time.
No.
We've seen enough of him towards the end. He's a turnover machine. Get rid of him. George Hill had the worst plus minus of anybody today. He was at minus 17, and he looked terrible. He just looked completely lost out there. He got old. So, I mean, if I'm going with 3 guys coming off the bench, I'm going with Matisse. I'm going with Howard because you need somebody to spell Joel. And you need Maxey. I think Maxey at this point, he can still get you buckets. He's an okay defender. He has elite level quickness. That's something this team didn't have maybe the last 2, 4, or 5 seasons. Not since a guy like Ish Smith. And oddly enough, Ish Smith had a hard time dealing with his quickness. So they haven't had a guy that's really elite level quick like that in a long time. And Maxey gives them that. So it's a good change of pace. But I think that those guys should be getting the minutes. I would maybe go to Korkmaz if
absolutely
you need a couple buckets. I would, but I'm telling you, maybe for a 2-minute span there, try to get him a couple chances at a 3, because the guy can knock down shots. So, but again, he would be the 9th guy, and I'd use him basically how they use Milton today. Milton, I think, got 2 or 3 minutes, and that's basically it. But that would be my 8-guy rotation. Like I said, if I was going to go to a 9th, I would throw Korkmaz in there for a minute or two just to try to get him some open looks because the guy can knock down the 3 ball.
That's true. He can. He absolutely can. But yeah, I said a while back, like that Milton needs to take a back seat to Maxey because you're right. That speed, his quickness is really good, and it's to see that from a young kid that at this point in his rookie season, and I was happy with it. I'm happy with it. Like he's a great player, and I'm so happy they did not trade him. And yeah, I mean, I want to see him more, and I really do think that we're going to get to see a little bit more of him because Doc was starting to put some trust into him. He likes what he sees. I like what I see. I'm sure you guys do. And yeah, I was saying for about 2 weeks now that I wanted to see more of Maxey and less of Shake. So I agree with you there.
Like I said, Bill said the 8-man rotation: Hill, Maxey, and Howard. And yeah, that's right. But the only thing.
Why would you sit Batiste? Why would Batiste not play there, Will?
He might have just forgot about Matisse.
Yeah, I mean, Hill was terrible today. I mean, Hill can knock down an open jump shot at this point, but aside from that, I'm not putting him in there.
Well played, Bill. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, Hubie Brown, who's about 180 years old, was wondering the same thing. I don't even think he could see the game.
Yeah.
By the way, that guy, I don't know why he's on TV. I mean, he's like 3 days older than dirt. I don't think he could see what's going on the court. And like, I felt like I needed to bathe after that game because of just how he like slobbed all over the Hawks for 4 straight quarters. It was like, yeah. I couldn't anymore. I almost watched it on mute. It was horrible having to listen to him. I hope he doesn't do another game.
That's why I like the Sixers guy, Allah, whatever his name is.
He's great. He's great.
Nabby.
Yeah. He's so down the middle. I mean, he gets excited for the Sixers, but he's so down the middle when there's calls being made, and he doesn't play homer like we do. Like he's legit, and I wish he could have came on.
Yeah, well, he reminds me a lot of the Hubie Brown coach the Hawks. No, he reminds me a lot.
Yeah, he coached the Hawks back in the '53. I think it was like his 20th year coaching at that point.
That guy's old.
I'm kidding,
You're right.
By the way.
He's older than dirt.
Yeah,
that's great. But yeah, no, he's Abnabi is. You're right. He's like so close. He's like down the middle, but he also reminds me a lot of like Kruk and Larry Anderson. They just don't care. They go out there. They, if the team's playing like dogs, they will say they're playing like dogs. And I actually like that. I don't like when even though they're my home team announcers and play-by-play guys, I don't like when they're homers. Give me the truth. Give me the honest truth. I don't want this. I don't want this like going down and doing special favors for them while you're on the air. Just trying to say good things about them. If they stink that day, they stink that day. Just keep it honest. So, yeah, I mean, I absolutely like Abnabi. I think he's a really good analyst.
Go ahead, Pat. You there, Pat?
You there, Pat?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
I say, why don't you go?
What do you mean?
I said, do you have any thoughts on Ali?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I like Mark Zumoff. I like Al, and obviously I like Tom McGinnis, who does the radio call.
I love listening to him on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, he's a one man wrecking crew. So you get that, then you're stuck with Hubie Brown and the C-listers today. We're the #1 seed in the East, and we're getting, like I said, the C-listers. It's terrible. And I don't. Hubie Brown's at the age where I don't think he can really see what's going on in the court. He's like how Pat Summerall was towards the end of his career. And they were talking about the one offensive foul they called on Trae Young, or the defensive foul they called, I think it was on Thibault, and they reviewed it. Now, Hubie Brown says, "Oh, well, I couldn't see it because it was the angle." Dude, Trae Young made the contact, and like that was actually Doc challenged that, and you can see
that was such a terrible call.
Contacted him. Yeah, and they still don't get it right. Like even when they go to replay against the Stars, Secaucus still overrules the refs because they want the Stars getting the calls. It's a joke. And you can see he was the one who initiated the contact, and then he tried to change it like midstream. It was terrible. Like I said, it was awkward to watch. Now, what I will say is, there's certain teams that I always say, always got calls. The Lakers always get calls. They're obviously not. They're not here now. Back in the day, it was the Bulls. There's always these teams that he got calls back when LeBron was there. All those teams are gone now. They're not in the playoffs. I saw a cool stat today. The team that's won the championship the most recent of all teams left in the playoffs, who do you think it is? Your Philadelphia 76ers, 1983.
Yes.
So these teams that are all left in the playoffs, yes, the teams that are left in the playoffs aren't teams that are generally, considered NBA Titans or Juggernaut. So it is going to be a pretty cool rest of the way here because, we're probably going to see a team that either Bucks or the Sixers, are going to win a championship for the first time in over, almost 40 years, or you're going to see a first-time NBA champion. So for me, I think the playoffs are going to be pretty fun the rest of the way. I just hope that, I haven't been happy with the way the games have been called. And I'm not just talking about the Sixers game. I'm talking about just games in general. I don't like the way they've been called. So I want to see that get better. And I want to see when they actually go to Secaucus to try to overturn a call, they make the right call for a change. It's just frustrating. It takes away from the game.
No, you're absolutely right. And we'll go, like, we always joke around on our group text because I'm really, like, I haven't been this year, but like officials, like I rip into them. I'm the typical, I'll rip you. You're this, you're that. But I feel like the NBA they've been pretty good all season long. Obviously, that one game that Washington won, I thought was horrendous. I feel like Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook got away with a lot of stuff, and the refs just didn't let them play. And you figure Simmons was in foul trouble, Embiid was in foul trouble. Or he went out. I'm sorry, he went out. Dwight Howard was in foul trouble. Like, they couldn't do anything. And, like, stuff like that, like, when you get frustrated and you don't call stuff, that you don't call it down the middle, it gets on a player. And you can go back to Game 5 because there was a couple plays that Westbrook drove the lane. Probably should have gotten called for a foul by the Sixers. And then you look what happened. He turns around and mugs Ben Simmons. And it wasn't like a flagrant, but he was so mad because no foul was called, and he probably should have been called. But you turn around and then he like elbow, just like gives him like a shove, and you're just like, well, I mean, and then obviously people are calling for a flagrant. It's not a flagrant, but I'm like, that, like, stuff like that is how officials lose control of the games. So, like, if you're gonna let Trae Young push off of you, I'm sorry. You got to put in like a Paul Reed or someone and give him a little elbow to the mouth so he doesn't do it again. And Bill's right. The NBA needed a Game 5.
I don't know the rule to this. I was surprised that it happened during the game. They threw a lob pass to Clint Capella. He got fouled. Never had possession of the ball. Never touched it. But he was shooting foul shots.
Well, it was.
I don't understand. Like, it was a lob pass.
I saw it earlier. What it was really something. But I know what you're talking about. Like, and they got the ball right.
No. He had no. That was the flagrant one that they're clear to the basket foul. I think it was that they got that. But this was a situation where, and I think George Hill fouled him. Somebody threw him a lob. George Hill fouled him and interfered with him being able to catch the ball and dunk it. So he went to the foul line, shot 2 shots. And I don't understand if that's a rule. Now, if that's a legit thing, I've never seen it happen. But if that's a legit thing, I don't know how you can give somebody a shooting foul when they never possess the ball. I mean, that's something that I think, from a rule standpoint, that's something that they look into and they have to do away with. Because it can't be a shooting foul. They weren't in the act of shooting.
And they weren't in the penalty?
No, he shot 2 shots. If they were in the penalty, he would have shot 1 for 1. They didn't even go. They weren't even the 1-1s at that point.
Oh, okay. Then obviously I don't know.
Yeah, and they never questioned it on the telecast. That's the other thing. I had no idea what the hell was going on there.
Most
I completely saying
loss ever ruined a whole Sunday like Jim Schwartz used to. That's funny. That's really funny. So, what else did you want to speak on today, Chris?
Well, I mean, let's talk about the Phillies. Took 2 or 3 from the Nats today, this weekend.
They won big today too, didn't they? Have like 11 runs.
12-6.
Yeah, I've been okay. Yeah, I've been on the road and doing stuff, so I was really out of the loop this last few days. Had a lot of stuff happening. So, yeah, man. And Bryce Harper, I saw he came back off of the DL, right?
He had a big hit yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad he's back, man. Glad he's back. And I know Hector Neris. He went on like maternity leave. I guess his wife is having a kid.
Yes. I think he had a baby boy the other day.
Good for him. Good for him. So what's your take on with the Phillies now, man? You starting to leveling out with them? You happy? You good or what?
Well, listen, Phillies, they are what they are. I thought they were going to be a little bit better. You know, as much as I hate them, I got to give, Odubel credit. I don't have to root for him, but I don't have to root against them either.
No, you don't. No, you're doing the right thing. You don't like the guy, but as long as he's playing well, yeah, you do. That's fine. So as long as he's playing well and he's actually being a contributor to the team, I don't care. It's like help out, do your thing, and then it's what he's doing. It took him a while to come around, but he's starting to play.
He's doing really good. I'll say that. I can't argue that about him. Like Dubel's batting like 270. He's batting leadoff. He's getting on. McCutchen lost in whatchamacallit yesterday. He lost in rock, paper, scissors to Dusty. So, but,
that's funny.
Yeah. So I don't know what the Phillies are gonna do. They're 28-30. The NL East stinks. You, Bill.
Yeah. Scott Kingery, I don't want to bring him up anymore. I'm done with him.
He's terrible. And he had. If you go back and look, he didn't have a bad 2019 season. So no. I don't want to hear that Gabe Kapler ruined him. I don't want to hear that. I think it's all bull s. It's ridiculous. I still don't understand the city's love for Joe Girardi. I don't get it. The guy, he gets paid every double. He brought in a guy yesterday on a double switch who forgot how to run the bases Friday night. How do you get tagged in a rundown by a catcher in full gear? How does that happen? That doesn't happen in my son's little league games.
Yeah, that was.
Or in T-ball.
Yeah, that's a bad look. That's
full gear. Bad. Full gear. I would have took him by his wannabe Noah Syndergaard locks and threw him right on the next plane to Canada and been like, go deal with the COVID there because they don't let nobody in. You're stuck there for a quarantine for 3 months. That was frustrating. You took JT Realmuto out for him. What? You can't tell me that Joe Girardi's a good manager. He gets paid for a double switch. He gets a $100 bonus every time he does a double switch.
Really?
He has to. I've never seen so many double switches by one manager.
See, that's how gullible I am. I'm like, what? I'm like, where'd you what? Yeah. Because he calls the writers by their first name and he doesn't.
And Gabe Kapler's over in San Francisco. They're 36-21. They're 15 games over 500. Now, again, I'm not going to say they're going to win the World Series. You couldn't name I know they're a West Coast. Could you name 9 players on that team other than Buster Posey and Kevin Gausman? Is Kevin Gausman that good? No. Come on, and I know Gabe Kapler was insane. He was crazy. He brought in a breaking ball machine for the hitters, and Bryce Harper laughed it off. But he wasn't as bad as everyone makes him out to be, in my opinion. I go back to Joe Girardi because Will had put the thing up about Joe Girardi, and everyone's like, well, he's got 1,000 wins, he's got this, he's got that. I'm like, all right, well, he had a bomb squad lineup in 2009. You couldn't mess that lineup up. It's the same thing when you go back to the 2008 Phillies. You had a bomb squad lineup from 1 to 8. You had a great bullpen. You had 5 good pitchers. Not great. You had 5 good pitchers who gave you 7 innings. If they didn't, you had J.C. Romero, you had Ryan Madson, you had Chad Durbin, and you had Brad Lidge. And they were all phenomenal that year. The writing was on the wall for the Phillies that year. Just like the writing was on the wall for 2009. They had CC Sabathia. Yeah, that was fair. They had Andy, I did steroids Pettit. They had, Mariano Rivera, or not Mariano Rivera, Pedro Martinez ran out of gas in Game 5, I think it was. So I don't want to hear how great of a manager is. He's not great. He got fired after winning Manager of the Year for the Marlins. What's that say? The Marlins fired you after you won Manager of the Year. Maybe you're not that good. I'm sorry. Maybe you're not that good. I think he's overrated. He doesn't know how to handle a pitching staff. I don't know how a former catcher doesn't know how to handle a pitching staff. It's mind-boggling. That game with Wheeler last week, when I think they were playing Tampa Bay, Wheeler had 103 pitches. Why are you pulling him? He doesn't bat. Let him lose his game. It's like the bullpen again with 2020. There was no reason to take Wheeler out. Let him lose the game. 103 pitches, 118 pitches. That dude Ohtani throws 99 pitches, hits a home run, and then goes play right field. I mean, I did that in 8th grade, but come on. Stop being an idiot, Joe. Just set the lineup up. We don't need to see, Sean Rodriguez's cousin come in and run for Roman Quinn or whoever else. He was taking Roman Quinn and putting him in the game. Why? Why are you putting Roman Quinn in the game before he got hurt? Roman Quinn is not a defensive gem. He's got a jelly arm. He just knows how to make a decent throw to the plate and get it to bounce.
Well,
Gabe Kapler really is that crazy, though. Getting back to your point on that, he's pretty nuts. That guy.
He's insane. He's absolutely insane. I'm not sitting there and I'm not speaking.
He would have never
Gabe
worked in
Kapler
this town long term. I mean, this guy. I read stories about him. He sat and ate ice cream with a bucket next to him, so he could taste the ice cream and then spit it right out because he didn't want to take in the calories of it. So that's kind of what they're dealing with. That's acceptable out in San Francisco and all the goofy stuff they do out there. That's totally fine. But that's the type of guy he is. That doesn't work in Philadelphia.
Again, but it should because he's different. The Philadelphia people sit there and talk about Ilya Bryzgalov. I don't know if you guys remember Ilya Bryzgalov. That dude was insane.
Yeah, he was nuts.
This city was not ready for him, and I friggin' loved him. I loved how crazy he was. Just like Papelbon. Jonathan Papelbon was a crazy dude. The city was not ready for him. They just weren't. And he came from Boston. How does a guy from Boston come to Philly and the media isn't ready for him? He's an emotional guy. I'll take Jonathan Papelbon any day of the week. The dude's he holds the career saves for the Phillies and the Red Sox. Name a closer who holds the career record for 2 different teams. You can't. And then people are like, he's not Hall of Fame. Yeah, he's not Hall of Fame. Get the hell out of here. He's not Hall of Fame.
Jose Mesa, maybe?
No, Papelbon. No, he
doesn't
beat
have
Jose.
For the Tribe and the Pirates.
Maybe he does have, but he did. If he has it for the Tribe, you got to remember he did have it for the Phillies for an hour, and then Papelbon beat him.
Yeah,
that's funny. Papelbon was the best closer we ever had.
I mean, other than 2008. Let's relax.
Yeah, let's not. Don't forget about Brad Lidge.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's saying career, which it's an argument to have. I have no problem arguing that.
Yeah, that's a good argument. That really is.
But if you think about that, think about how bad the Phillies organization is. If that's the debate we're having right now about how good Papelbon was here, and he's the best closer we've had, and this team's been around since 1883. The Oakland Athletics want nothing to do with us. They're like, you guys are stepbrother, stepsister. We don't want nothing. You're the 3rd, 8th cousin. We don't want anything to do with you. Yeah, he means career. So
yeah.
So that's good. So Will's a pretty smart guy. I'll give him that. But and I get mad. I get mad at Joe Girardi because I'm tired. I know what's going to happen. There's going to be a double switch. There was no reason for that dude Janikowski to come in the other day. There was no reason. There's nothing you can say. If you would have did that 10 years ago, you would have got benched for 3 games. How do you get caught off a second? This isn't CYO. This isn't the peanut league. You got to be better. You were brought up from the minors to make it to the majors. And now you do that, and we got Mickey Moniak sitting in the minors. I know Mickey Moniak can do that from second base.
Is this a situation, though, where he's getting pressure to make these moves from a metric standpoint? Because the Phillies are involved with the stupid metrics. I shouldn't say the stupid metrics. Metrics matter to an extent in baseball, but they are one of those organizations where it's rumored that they do kind of overemphasize it. Especially, that's one of the reasons why they brought Kapler in when they did. So you think Girardi's getting the pressure about that or something like that?
I don't think he's getting pressure because he's actually been known for that. Like I'd heard on the radio, one of the guys I believe was from 97.5, and when the Phillies signed Girardi, he said that they called him up and they were like, "Yo, man, just be ready. You're going to have Joe Girardi and his binder." They called him Binder Joe because he goes with the analytics. So I don't think anyone's pressuring him. I mean, if anything, I think he tends to listen more when the analytics are being brought to his attention.
Okay.
I mean, we all know that the Phillies, was it the Phillies? No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking the Eagles. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Phillies do have someone with analytics, considering your pitcher, your manager, is an analytics guy, and then you brought someone in before him who was an analytics guy. So
I mean, he was a super analytics guy. I mean, he had what do you call it? One of those laminated cards he gave to all the players.
Yes.
Telling them where to line up. I mean, Christ.
Yep.
Doesn't get more micromanaging than that. That's how and that's what I mean. I don't know how a guy like Gabe Kapler, who is dealing with millionaires for the most part, is able to get through when you're giving them laminated cards and telling them where to play on every single at bat. It's just, it for me, that just screams in what I know about sports. I mean, you have guys where especially being a head coach, like respect matters at that pro level because those guys are millionaires and they're the best at what they do. And if you're some goofball and you can't connect with them, they don't want to be anywhere near you. And
Nope.
like I said, he's a weirdo and he's like super analytical with this stuff. I don't know how he's able to connect with these guys and get them to win out there. I mean, that just boggles my mind because it seems like everything else kind of goes in the face of that.
Right, and that's the thing. They're winning games, and they were winning games here. I don't know if people remember like how good the Phillies were until like August and September. Like they fell off the face of the earth. So like
well, that might happen with them. That might happen with San Francisco.
Okay, but whose fault is it going to be at that time? I know we sit there and we get the managers, they get besmirched as Will put it, but like if he doesn't win, like what if like players just get hurt or players just don't produce? Like then what? But like, and again, I am 100%. Gabe Kapler is crazy. But I shared a Facebook post from 2 years ago. I said I did not like the signing of Joe Girardi. I absolutely despised it. I think it was terrible. But this Philadelphia fan base was so over Gabe Kapler and his analytics. And I'm over analytics in baseball altogether. You go out there, you hit the ball, you run the first, you run the second, you run the third, you run the third. It's not that hard. I hate the shift. I get it. But, if he wins manager of the year, Jesus Christ.
I'm not even. I'm not going to even.
Look. See? What did I just say? He just hopped on. T-Can Rises said what I said like 5 minutes ago. Joe Girardi gets paid in double switches.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, do the Phillies have a shot at winning this division? I mean, I gotta imagine somebody's going to get hot.
But who? Like, who's getting hot? Everybody stinks. Like the Braves, one of the Braves' best pitchers is out. Jacob deGrom is having a ridiculous year, but they don't score runs at all. Like
he's got the best ERA since who? Bob Gibson.
0.62.
Yeah.
That's a soda outside the city of Philadelphia. A can of soda. No soda tax. It's 62 cents. Are you kidding me? I would trade everybody in the minor leagues right now for Jacob deGrom. I'd be like, see you.
Yep.
I love you, but you got to go. Give me Jacob deGrom any day of the week.
I think Atlanta eventually might get hot. The bats, and I mean, their
bats are hot. Like Acuna's still leading the league in home runs. Their bats are hot. Their pitching isn't.
I mean, you like 1 through 6, their bats are hot because I think it's just him, isn't it?
It
I
might be.
looked up their
It
stats
might
the other
be.
day. It's really
It
just
might be.
him that's carrying it. And like I said, I gotta imagine somewhere like Freddie Freeman, like those guys are all going to turn it around at some point.
Oh yeah, I would imagine they would. I would really imagine that they would. They do have a great lineup. So
If they don't, I mean, the team that's sub 500 is going to go represent the NL East. That's crazy.
yeah,
Because I don't think the Phillies are going to go above 5 this year. I mean, it's the way it's looking.
The Mets are 28 and 23 and have a 3-game lead.
Okay.
So, and you know, the Braves are 28 and 29, and they have a they have a half a game lead on the Phillies.
Mhm.
Everybody's
insane.
3.5, and 6.5 out, which is crazy. Like there isn't a team who's just taking it by the horns.
No.
And that's what frustrates me is because this team could be so much better if Joe Girardi knew how to manage a team. Grease has been hitting out of his mind the last couple weeks. We know that. I don't know if he got a hit today. I'll look it up. But he had a 13-game hitting streak going in today. Odubel, again, like the dude's ridiculous. Like he's been hot. Like and it aggravates me. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like him. But he's batting 270. Like what else can you get from the guy? He's an OPS of 772. You know, he strikes out 24 times, but he's got 12 walks, which is it is what it is. His on base percentage is 340. It should be a little bit higher, being a leadoff guy. But he just got into the leadoff spot, so you know they'll probably they'll probably get like a little bit more. That should jump up to 400. Listen, if it jumps up, if Odubel Herrera is batting 270, 280, and his on base percentage is 450. That means Bryce Harper should be driving in a lot of runs from the number 3 spot. And I like that they put whatchamacallit at 2 today. JT Realmuto. He was 2 for 3. He was 2 for 5 with a home run, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored. Like that's where it needs to go.
very good.
Keep him on the bench.
Keep him on the bench, Bill. So, but like it's the NFC East, and he's right. Like there isn't
He
a
is
team,
right.
and there's so much. Like why is and this fan base thinks Brad Miller's an everyday player. Let's get to that real quick. Brad Miller's not an everyday player.
Not at all. They like him because of the nickname, Bamboo Brad.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like BDN, but he won the Super Bowl. Brad Miller hasn't done anything.
There you go.
Like, and Janikowski pinch in today again. Granted, he got a pinch in single, but why? Why are you letting this guy bat? He doesn't know how to run the bases.
He sees something in him. I don't know what it is, but he definitely sees something in him. 10-game streak is over. Yeah, I guess his hit streak's over. Yep.
Yeah. Which, whatever. I mean, he got on base. Looks like he got on base a couple times. But like Bryce Harper's batting 273. You know, Bryce Harper's on base percentage is 392 as a number 3 hitter. Like, imagine if Herrera gets that up to 392. He doesn't have to be 400. Like,
right.
Harper should be driving these guys in. JT Realmuto's on base percentage is 410. He should be batting 2. You put Reese at 4, where he's knocking people in. You have McCutchen batting 5. I don't know why you have Brad Miller batting 6. But, you know, Baum is struggling. I think you got to send Baum down. I don't know if you can, but I think you got to send him down.
Or at least step him down for a little while. Yeah, he's been terrible, field and hitting at the plate. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's batting 209 and his on base is 254. That's not going to win in Major League Baseball. Like it's not. Like I'm sorry, like I would like it to, but it's not, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with struggling. But if you're going to keep them up, then keep them in the game because like everyone here knows who Dustin Pedroia is, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dustin Pedroia's rookie year, he started out the first 2 months batting 193. And you know what the franchise did? They kept him up. They got him working extra. He won Rookie of the Year. He batted 300. I'm pretty sure they won the World Series this year. Now, can that happen with Boom? We don't have faith because of the history of our franchise. I don't have faith. But if you're going to send him down, make sure it's every day at bats and keep him down there for a week or two. And then you bring him back up. But again, we keep him down there. Brad Miller has like a 10-game hitting streak, and then people are like, "Oh, we don't need it. We don't need Alec Boehm. Let's trade him." And that's where we're at with Philadelphia. All right, I think he left. There you go.
What happened there?
So I'm sure I'm sure he'll be back on. I don't know what happened.
These scouts don't have passports. We actually talked about that on an earlier podcast, that they need to get out and into the Caribbean and find some better outfield prospects. That's where you're going to find it. It's going to be in the Caribbean or northern part of South America.
Yeah, so he's talking about Brad Miller.
But,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'll give him clutch, but he's not 150 game, 100 and whatever, whatever game is. And there he is.
I don't know what happened.
America.
I was just listening to you guys, and all of a sudden it went off. I went, hello?
There we go. Eric did the Bill just drunk disappearing goodbye. I've witnessed Bill do that.
I was just sitting here, and all of a sudden it was like going. I'm like, the hell?
He's like Taco from the league.
Yeah, I legit almost was like, okay, well then I'm gonna go.
I guess our show is ending. Like,
I don't know.
So, but no, we were talking about Brad Miller and like how if you're gonna send Boehm down, put him down in the minors for 2 weeks. Give him 10 games down the minors, 4 at-bats a game. Even bat him leadoff just to get him as at-bats and find out what his work, what's he missing. Like, what is going on that he's doing terrible? And then, bring him back up and then put him and plug him right back in. I don't like Brad Miller is cool for like 40 games. He's Jeff Jenkins from 2008. That's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't need the platoon with Alec Boehm at third. I get it. Alec Boehm isn't a third baseman. Well, the Phillies can't. I don't know why. They haven't had a third baseman in the minors since Scott Rowland. I can go. Well, Pat Burrell was a third baseman, but we saw where he went.
Yep.
Look at Franco.
Oh yeah, Franco.
He had 80 good games, and then he forgot how to bat. He's probably. Let's see what he's an Oriole, right?
Yeah,
he's in Baltimore, I think.
He's in Baltimore,
so.
Yes.
No, God, they're terrible. They're 21-38. Although they won today, 18-5, which is crazy. We're gonna talk shit on Maikel Franco. He went 4 for 4 for 4 home runs and 8 RBIs, probably. But no, he didn't even play today. They scored. Oh, there it is. There it is. Maikel Franco, 2 for 5 with 1 home run. No home runs. 2 RBIs though, and a run scored. So, which is fine. But I don't know what else we can get from Joe Girardi.
This is what we're getting is what we're getting. So we have to learn to live with it and basically just go crazy whenever he pulls another double switch. So yeah.
But like Bill said earlier, I went off like CM Punk, and it's more or less is what's going to happen. Like when I do the Diamond Club podcast tomorrow, the co-host John, I don't even know if I'm going to get a word in because I'm going to agree with him, and I'm just going to be sitting there eating my chips like, yep. There's literally nothing you're saying that I'm disagreeing with. He's just going to go off and shoot, and it's like I said, I don't know if Joe Girardi is the problem. I don't. But for me, my opinion, he's the problem because he doesn't know how to handle the pitching staff. Not that the pitching staff's going out and giving us, these great. What the hell was that? Not that he's going out and giving us these great innings, but Vince Velasquez has been pitching decent up until his last outing. Aaron Nola. I love Aaron Nola, but he's not an ace. We know he's not. He's not a guy you send out if you're in the middle of a 4-game losing streak, and you have confidence that he's going to stop it, like a Zach Wheeler or a Roy Halladay or a Cliff Lee. Well, Cliff Lee's every other year, how he was. We don't know.
No, you're right. We don't. So.
I mean, at this point, though, if Girardi is the problem, that means we're going to be going back to another coach. We're becoming like a coaching graveyard in this town. And there's been some really successful coaches that have.
They should have hired Dusty Baker. Honestly,
he was a retread though. He's never really won anything either. I mean, he's had a lot of opportunities where he's gone and failed. We had
Daniel never won anything before he came here.
I mean, he at least was in a World. Although Dusty Baker was in a World Series in 2002, but yeah, Charlie played in the World. He managed in a World Series, but I mean, we had Terry Francona. It didn't work out here. Guy went on the Boston, won 3 World Series, 2 World Series,
And took Cleveland to the World Series versus the Cubs.
Yes, and took Cleveland to the World Series. I mean, the guy
was
a good manager. He didn't manage.
That's how shitty our franchise was. Is we didn't even have the patience. They're like, you know what? Here's Travis Lee at first base. That'll help you. Here's Vicente Padilla. Get the hell out of here! Like stop it! And again, Terry Francona is a good manager. Well, let the players smoke and drink in the dugout in the clubhouse. Maybe you know what that worked because they won World Series. But when they lost, they fired them. Yeah, if you're drinking beer in the clubhouse and winning a World Series, Philadelphia will love that dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know I would have.
But they went through Sandberg, then they went through who replaced Sandberg midseason? What was that guy's name? He had a weird name.
Vukovic.
No.
McCannon.
Pete Mackanin. Yeah. So they had Pete Mackanin. Then they went to Crazy Gabe, and now they're with Joe Girardi. They're going to be on they're going to be their 5th coach in 7 or 8 years, 9 years. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot. Who are they going to be able to attract? I mean, this is a dumpster fire of an organization. They just know for hiring people and firing them right away. So it's going to be hard to lure that big name candidate that is a good manager because he's going to look and say there's not a whole lot of job security there.
True. Yeah, you're right there. The amount of managers they've gone through in 7 years is crazy. They go in and get the yes men. That's what they get.
Well, they went and they fired Charlie, and they never had a real replacement for him.
And that was their mistake.
Right.
That was a mistake.
And
they thought they had that. They thought Ryan Sandberg was the.
I'm one of them. I thought Ryan Sandberg was the answer, and then you go back and you look at history, and you're like, wow, I can't believe that. The Cubs passed on him as a manager, and now you see why. I wanted Joe Maddon. If you told me right now at the end of last season, if we fired Joe Girardi and we got Joe Maddon, I would take Joe Maddon in a heartbeat. That dude wins everywhere.
He does.
I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does it. He is the master of analytics, and he still wins.
That's the one guy. I don't know if he would fit this town. I mean, he's like a sommelier and plays the piano and does all that crap. That doesn't really read well in Philadelphia. Now, winning 100% does. And if he's winning, he is. But the second that guy goes on a losing streak, man, the fans are going to be all over him. Blackbird plays exactly. He's like the king of the hipsters. He's like the grandpa of the hipsters, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
But, Will, if he took the Phillies to a World Series, you would love him. No, everybody hated Charlie Manuel. Everybody absolutely hated Charlie Manuel. And he took the Phillies to a World Series, and then they were like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, now he'll never have to pay for a meal in Philly again. They'll be like, oh, send my Uncle Charlie a steak. So it's
everybody wanted Jim Leland. That was the guy they all wanted.
I remember that. Well, I do remember when they hired Charlie Manuel. I was like, who? I was like, who the hell is this? I said, what? The guy from the Indian? I was like, what? I was like, okay, whatever. It is what it is. And so such and such years later, I was like, okay.
Did you guys hear the story about why they didn't hire Jim Leland? And I don't know if it's true or not. Chris, do you know the story?
Bro, let me see, because I feel like I've heard it.
Apparently, the reason why they didn't hire him, and again, this is all hearsay. He asked to take a cigarette break and went out and had a smoke during the interview, and that's why they didn't take him.
Well, you know what the way Philadelphia
and I've heard that from a couple different sources.
Okay.
Yeah, so these are the people that are doing the hiring. So it's kind of like, because they're all still with the organization, they don't fire anybody. So yeah, that's what I heard.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's funny if it was.
But again, that's why we're not hiring people.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, he went and had smoke break, and that apparently that was a big turnoff for the front office, and that's why they went with Charlie. Now, I mean, the move ended up netting them a World Series, but Jim Leland, I mean, he was a good manager for Detroit. I mean, he won a lot of games with Detroit, organization that's not really a winner. I mean, he had a lot of talent there, but I mean, still the guy won a World Series with the Marlins, and he took another team to a World Series. So they passed on a guy who wasn't a slouch either, because he wanted to go out and have a smoke break. Stupid.
And you know what? It sounds like Philadelphia. It sounds like something our organization would do.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we can start wrapping this up. So, what are we going with Tuesday night? What are we going with the Sixers?
I think the Sixers bounce back and they win. I think they split the first two. I'm not going to predict the score because basketball is unpredictable for me.
No, I wouldn't say a score. I'm just going to say the Sixers are going to win in 6.
Yeah, I'm going to in 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 6 is about right. I mean, it could go 7 if you ask me, but I think 6 is perfect. Yeah,
I think they'll make their adjustments defensively. I think they'll come out maybe with Simmons immediately on Trae Young, and maybe try to pressure him a little bit more in the front court there, before just kind of letting them walk the ball up the half court and then putting a little bit of pressure on him. That seemed to work a little bit better today. So hopefully they apply a little more pressure, like I said, at the end of the half, maybe at the end of every quarter. I do think they're going to win that game. I think it'll be a double-digit win. They have to not shoot the ball as well as they did today. I mean, yeah, maybe X-Pac could ring the bell. That'd be pretty awesome. Stay with the DX theme there. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately that team's got to come down a little bit from that good shooting night. And they're going to spend a couple more days in the city here. I think they come out a little more flat in Game 2. And the Sixers end up winning by double digits here.
Nice,
I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a God. If they shoot 42% again, I don't know what they could be. But Bill had brought it up that this was the most Philadelphia Eagles game ever, and you think about that, and then you look at this comment. They were in a trap game.
Yeah.
And what is the most common used trap game used in sports? Is used in the NFL language. So they could very well come out and win the next 4 straight and just blow it. Atlanta's good. I'm not taking anything away from Atlanta. They're not that good. The Sixers are too much. The Sixers are, in my opinion, they're better. They're way better. But we alluded to the 69% free throw percentage, and they're 95% free throw percentage. That 69% is not all Ben Simmons. I didn't think so. If we're gonna throw everybody on, it's not just Ben Simmons shooting 69%. The rest of the team was, and their plus minus was terrible, Atlanta, but it came down to the bench. This is why you have these guys. This is why you're gonna have the 9-man rotation. If Shake Milton sees that court any other time, unless we're up by 65, I don't want to see him in there. I'd rather have Eric Milton, the old Philadelphia Phillies pitcher, in there than Shake Milton. I'm sorry, Shake Milton can go make me a milkshake, in my opinion.
I mean, they threw everything they had at us. Their starters. I know the plus minus. I read it off at the very beginning of the podcast. I know their plus minus was down, but their starters shot the ball very well.
Yeah,
they went on
threes.
And their bench had an uncharacteristically good game. Now they do have a good bench, but that's still uncharacteristically good. I think they were saying the most threes they make usually during a game's 12. I think they were at like 16, 17 at the end of the third quarter. So they shot the ball unusually well, and they still only won by 4 points. So that signs point to me that the Sixers are still going to take the series. It's just going to be a little bit closer probably than what I anticipated. But, I mean, like I said, they had an uncharacteristically good game from the field, and it was still a close game at the end.
Yeah, right, and it goes like they said they made the most they made in the previous series against the Knicks was 12.
Yeah,
and
that was the rate during the whole season. So that's where they have to average out to.
And and leave the bench where it is, like 4-man, no Shake, no Korkmaz, unless there's something happens. Again, that's my opinion. But you have Dwight Howard in there for 10 minutes. You have Maxey in there running a point when Ben's out, or when Joel's out, and you put Ben at the 5, and you have Maxey running a point.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. Like if you're going to put Ben at the 5 to give Embiid his minutes, and because Dwight Howard will most likely be in foul trouble because that's what Dwight Howard does, then you let Maxey run the point. Like we know the energy Maxey has. Well, Maxey went from being the worst defender on the Sixers to how good he is now. Like
Ben rolls to the 5. if Ben rolls to the 5, you can actually really press that team like you did today at the end, because you're going to have a lot of speed out on the court. If you got a guy who's 6'10", can run like Ben out there playing the 5, you can really pressure them, and they did not handle that pressure very well.
No, they don't. And look at Embiid. He had torn meniscus, and he put up 39 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So thanks to everybody who joined us. Thanks for Bill and TK Rise's comments. We had somebody from Florida earlier who was up there, trying to find who his name is. I feel like we had a good second live show.
Second live show.
I love the live shows.
Yeah, I really like these shows.
Nobody cursed. Oh,
Brian, I think I did once.
Whatever. Brian Miller Tabler. So that's the guy.
Hello, Brian. Again.
And then this came through from a YouTube user. So I don't know. I tried looking it up, and I haven't seen anything on Twitter anywhere that Stephon Gilmore got traded to the Washington football team. So.
Interesting.
Gilly going to the football team. All right, I'll have to look it up when I get off of here.
Yeah, I didn't see it anywhere. So did you make your pick in fantasy football, Bill, Eric?
Oh yeah, I did that a while ago. Yeah.
No.
I did it a while ago. I needed another running back, so I took the Philadelphia Eagles, Kenneth Gainwell.
Okay.
Yeah, I needed another running back. I dropped Keneal Harry from the Patriots, and I picked up Gainwell. I mean, I like Harry, but I didn't do it for me the last 2 seasons. So I'm like, whatever.
So, hopefully, maybe look at next Sunday shooting back on. Hopefully, we can talk about the Sixers being up 3-1.
Hopefully.
Yeah, right. Well, if you guys want to hop on like during the week, the only day I really won't be available is going to be Wednesday. That's when everything for my grandmother's happening. So that'll be a no-go for me.
So you can't do it during the service?
We'll
bring her on. We'll bring her on. We'll pay our respects.
Oh man, that's fun.
Hey, listen, I love the Philadelphia Phillies story about her. Like, she's one of those old heads who love their Phillies no matter what it sounds like.
Yeah, she did. I mean, her and I were like, we had a lot of one-on-one time when it came to sports. Like, I remember the night that Cal Ripken Jr. was surpassing the record for most games played at it was a shortstop, and she called me and said, "You coming over to watch it?" And I was like, "Oh, Graham, I didn't even think about it." So she's like, "Yeah." At the time, she had a VCR. She's like, "Bring a tape over." She's like, "We'll tape the game." I was like, "Okay." So went over. We're watching it. I have the VCR going. I'm taping the game, and she made the funniest joke when the game became official. I think it's like after the 6th inning, like 5th inning or something like that is when they become official. She goes, "Oh, okay. Well, you could stop it now. You could go home." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." She went up and she got me a soda. I was like, "Oh my God, Graham, don't do this to me." But yeah, so I mean, I was like, yeah, for a little lady, she had a good sense of humor.
Yeah. So it sounds like she'll be missed by your family. So we are sorry for your loss.
Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
99 years old. That woman lived her life.
Wow, 99. Jesus.
Hell of a run, right, man? Hell of a run.
I won't get probably within 50 years of that. So.
Hey, listen. She got to see. I mean, I don't know how much of a sports fan she was, but she got to see Stanley Cups, a Sixers, a Flyers, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers, and Eagles.
Yeah.
Championships. God bless her, man.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She did something that a lot of people in this city never saw. You know what I mean? She's done a lot.
Yeah.
She's done a lot. So, but yeah, that baseball.
All right. So obviously she's a 99-year-old woman. She probably still drank. What was her favorite drink? Alcoholic.
She was a wine person. She drank red rosé.
Red rosé. Oh my God.
Yeah, we used to go and buy it for her. It come in the old gallon jugs, the glass gallon jugs.
Oh my God.
And you can still get it.
Yeah, I'm sure we sold it at Roger Wilco when me and Bill worked together.
That's where I would always buy it.
Our next live show, I'm drinking a glass of wine for your grandmother. Red
Oh,
wine.
well, thank you very much.
Not red rosé, but I don't know what kind of red wine I have. But hey, listen, man, you're 99 years old. God bless her. Like, good for her.
Yep.
She lived her life. So, and
Yep.
Will's a fan of her. I know Will's already a fan of her.
Oh, I know. I see that. He's like, God bless her. I know.
Drinking red wine.
Actually, Bill was the very first person to text me after I made the post and like telling everybody that she had unfortunately passed away. And he was the very first person to text me, maybe not even a half hour later. And I was like, wow, awesome, man. Thank you very much. So, Bill, thank you very much for that, my man. Meant a lot.
Yeah, I think you texted me that Nick Foles didn't want to get traded. Like, your grandmother just died and you're telling me about Nick Foles? Like, what the hell? I don't care about Nick Foles. Jesus
Dude.
Christ.
Everybody
when
cares
that was
about Nick Foles.
When that was happening, it was the funniest thing ever. I'm like, oh, man, Graham's passed, whatever, blah, blah. Like, what,
She told Nick Foles didn't want to get traded. She's like, I can't take it no more.
He's like, that's great. But yeah, so no, yeah, again, man, thank you guys very much. And yeah, so she had a hell of a run in '99. So it was good. And she was she one of 6 or 9 kids?
Well, there wasn't anything else to do back then, so.
Right. All done in the dark. You just fell and went, oops.
Do you have any idea how much I would wish Bill would have 9 kids, and he might log off right now and like drive over and set my house on fire with me in it. If Bill had triplets, like think about if Bill got a girl pregnant and had triplets. I would love it.
I couldn't imagine having. I have 2. I couldn't imagine having 3. I don't want to be outnumbered my kids.
Dude, I'm not having any. And I'm like, this is great.
You say you're not having any until Bill's like, hey, you're like,
That's
wait a
not
minute.
happening. No, that's not happening. That's not happening. That was like on our very first date. That was discussed, and we're both kids. No, perfect.
I can't wait till you're a 50-year-old father of 2
Not happening. Not happening.
twins.
Tuesday morning, I'm getting snipped. I'll be limping around on Wednesday. I don't care.
I hope you ain't lifting the coffin up. So, all right. Thanks to everyone for listening. So, hopefully, we'll be on next Sunday. I feel like there's a good show. We got some good jokes in.
Yeah,
talked about the one of 9 of your grandmother. Jesus Christ. But good for her. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.